Great. Today on Jeff Loses Moto Money playing decks that posted 5-0 results, we've got some Smallpox here. Each player loses one life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, and sacrifices a land. So this deck, like a lot of decks in Magic, is looking to take this symmetrical effect and break the parity that it creates for an advantage on its own. So, how do we break the parity on Smallpox? Well, the first way is that we don't play a lot of actual creatures, so our opponent will frequently be the only one sacrificing a creature. When it comes to lands, we have Flagstones of Trokair here, which when it dies, you get to get a plains out of your deck. So if you sacrifice Flagstone, you don't effectively lose a land to Smallpox. And then discarding a card, we've got things like Lingering Souls, Timeless Dragon, and Nether Spirit here, which are all things that allow us to discard them, but then get value from them out of the graveyard. Now, one of the ways that we get Flagstones into play, but still play Smallpox on turn 2 is we've got both Fetid Heath and Urborg here as ways to make Flagstones tap for black mana effectively. Yeah, Timeless Dragon in general is pretty sweet. So this is plane cycling, so it can search a land up out of your deck. And then you pay 4 to eternalize it, making a 4/4 flyer, which seems sweet. You can also cast it as a 5/5 flyer in the mid game to get value out of it, in case you're expecting to grind your opponent a little bit and you're in the mid game. But yeah, I like the design on this card a lot. We also have some copies of Vindicate here, which is just destroy target permanent. So this is a nice card because, like, when your opponent's short on lands from Smallpox, you can use Vindicate to pressure their mana base further, but you can also just use it to answer problem permanents. You're not locked into just stone raining your opponent with it. So let's dive on into some games with this one and see how Poxing goes this morning. Solomon 1, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. I guess another thing to call out from a deck tech perspective is we've got one Indatha Triome here to make green mana, which allows Prismatic Ending to get up to 3 mana to kill higher cost things. And then the person who 5-0'd with this had a Toski as well as some Crime and Punishment in the sideboard here. The Crime and Punishment might be a little mediocre at this point. I guess it's still pretty good against the Hammer Time deck. It's really good against the kitchen decks, which have fallen off a little bit. And then Toski seems like a sweet card for grinding. You get this paired with things like Lingering Souls to draw a lot of cards. Thanks for the 35-month Slayer. Welcome back. Timeless Dragon isn't a strong enough threat. Well, so the thing about Timeless Dragon is you're not playing it because it's a powerful threat, right? Like, think about it like we think about Lingering Souls. Like, Lingering Souls, in terms of its ultimate power level, isn't a super powerful card, but you're not playing it because it's a super powerful card. You're playing it because it generates value as the game goes along. And a Timeless Dragon is very, very similar. You're playing it because it's looking to grind. Ah, the illusion of choice. Well, the good news is they don't have a fetch land here. And their second one would have been a freebie to pitch to Fury, I suppose. I mean, this deck isn't like a Blood Moon deck hoping that its opponent doesn't play Magic. I don't think that that's a very accurate summary of what this deck has going on. They're playing Kira. That's cute. So definitely want the Omnath here, I think. Morning, Drakenzo. Thanks for the quarter of year. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. I guess this harasses our Lingering Souls tokens, but seems fine. I might plane cycle this next turn. Morning, Squid. Hmm. All right, well, they drew a land, but they downticked the Renin 6, so they didn't get to draw a card with it this turn. So the hand right now is Fury, Fury, Forest, then one card we don't know. I wonder if they drew something they can cast, or if we're going to see Kira go to hand here. So we have all of the information here. Yep, there's Risen Reef. Risen Reef is one that's especially important to kill because it allows their pitch elementals to, what's the word I'm searching for? It allows their pitch elementals to effectively mitigate their card disadvantage by drawing cards. I guess there's a question of, do I want to flash back the souls because of the fury in their hand? I probably do. Because if they want to like Risen Reef into Fury pitch next turn to clear these, I think that's fine. Yeah, I mean you throw enough noodles at the wall and eventually something sticks. Is that is that his first deep run in a Magic tournament? I know he's newer to the game with Arena. I don't always get a chance to follow his content. I don't know. Croaky's effectively wins a Magic tournament every single day of the month. He's the largest content creator on Arena by a lot, so he almost assuredly makes more than anybody finishing in any kind of tournament. So these will clear out our spirit tokens. The Renin 6 went up. So then I have to decide, do I want to flash back the Timeless Dragon? Oh, they drew Ephemerate for the turn. Ugh, are we just dead to that? It kind of feels like we're just dead to that. And he was a viewer here. I don't think that's ever true. He came from what's it called? He came from Gwent, I believe, if I recall correctly. So let's do this. And then unfortunately, the Renin 6 is gonna get big enough that the Timeless Dragon can't kill it. If we spike a land, untapped land next turn, we can Lingering Souls plus Timeless Dragon, which would be nice. Oh, Alias did Gwent too. Did that game have like a big exodus of people leaving? I feel like a lot of previously Gwent players came over to Magic when Arena happened. Okay, well, it wasn't the land I wanted for Christmas, but I could just exile the Renin 6. Yeah, because Mogwai and Swim were from Gwent too. Yeah. That game also had a much lower ceiling than other games too, because it was a much smaller card game. Like Witcher's a decently large IP, but Gwent in and of itself was never very large. So do I care enough about the Renin 6 to skip putting the dragon into play this turn? I don't think so. I think we just do this and attack it down. So we'll get a 4/4 here. Ooh, yeah, special token. Look at that. B feature Volley, thanks for 7 months. Welcome, welcome. This Elementals deck we're playing against really makes me wish I'd just registered Kiki Court every day because, like, Ford's got such a good matchup against these people trying to generate little bits of value. Yeah, so one of the criticisms Magic often gets is its resource system, but the way in which a lot of other games mitigate resource variance in their game systems causes them to lose deck building. Like they lose the deck building depth that Magic has as a game. Well, there also just like aren't a lot of combo decks in the format right now. AGH. This format is very fair at the moment. So we played a little bit of the Elementals deck on stream, and I agree that it doesn't have a great combo matchup, but that's also like not super relevant at the moment. A lot of the combo decks aren't particularly fast or good with the way the format's developed. So they pitched their other Fury earlier, so we're hoping to dodge second copy of Fury here. So they have Risen Reef, and they have I believe they still have a second Forest in their hand. We saw two of these with one of our early discard spells. I really wish Magic Online was just a decent piece of software like Magic Arena and just like had their hand revealed instead of making me manually track what they have and haven't played. And this is the other part, right? Like I haven't killed this Omnath yet, so like they've just like up to 30 life, so even if I gain control of the board a little bit, it's gonna take me forever to actually kill them, which gives them a long while to get back in the game. Yeah, double Risen Reef here is very scary. Receiving ending for Reef. Well, what else was I supposed to be ending in the meantime, Draven? Was there a better target, you think? You think I should have ending the Renin 6 instead of doing the Lingering Souls last turn? Like, I've already got it down to 1. It's like, is that even really particularly relevant? Z-Man, thank you for the 24 months. Welcome back. Yep, we're down to 9 from the Omnath here. Like, why do I care about the Renin 6? It's like one attack away from dying. What is the Renin 6 accomplishing? My opponent has infinite lands already. Sure. I mean, I'm just answering your question with a question. You're saying, Jeff, are we saving the prismatic ending for something? I'm asking you. I'm just not casting it because there wasn't a good target in place. It's not that I'm strictly saving it for something so much as like I don't see a reason to cast it prior to that. I consider Living End to be a combo deck. Yeah, definitely. But Living End's also not very popular. Like, as someone who's been playing an incredible amount of Moto Leagues, like, it's not a deck people are really playing. I don't think they did spoilers over the weekend. Oh, they're playing Bolts. I think we're probably just buried by these Risen Reefs here. They both got to draw multiple cards. So the 25 months, Boo Shoes. Red Life. Thanks for the 39 months. I might have played what one could describe as an unhealthy amount of Pokemon Unite over the weekend. Maybe. I'm not sure we can beat just like Kira into attacking us at this point. Our deck definitely seems too slow and fair for this matchup. I mean, I'm not racing their board Draven is the thing. Like I think like I just don't understand like pressuring their life total also isn't meaningful here because they're at 27. Like, it's just a play that just doesn't matter. Another Omnath. Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and concede here. Our deck has actual 0 cards for this matchup in the sideboard. Actual 0? It looks like actual 0. I guess you could maybe argue Toski is a card that plays here. Guy is definitely bad. Maybe we'll board in Akaya's Guile as an extra edict. It's just out too, thanks to the 23 months. I mean, there's a good chance that none of our plays mattered and our deck's a steaming pile of crap that randomly 5-0'd because the person that was playing it played it in 800 leagues. Which is, again, one of those kind of data biases things where, like, when you're only looking at the successes and you're not looking at the failures, you know, you could theoretically 5-0 a league with, like, a 30 or 40% win rate with enough chances, right? You just end up hitting a decent streak. You know, even at a 30% win rate, it's point 3 to the 5. Yeah. You have it's actually smaller than I thought. So 30%, how about a 40% win rate? 40% win rate, you have a 1% chance to 5-0 a league. So if you run a bunch of them, that's not too outside of it. Void Mirror counters their Furies and Solitudes. I guess that's true. A curiosity, what makes a deck Pox versus Dead Guile? So Dead Guile is a tempo slash aggressive creature deck. So look at this deck and look at the threats or lack thereof that this deck is playing. So a deck isn't a Dead Guile deck just because it's black and white and has discard spells in it. If that makes sense. I'm gonna bottom these two. And hopefully curve discard spells into Liliana here. Opponent kept 8. Probably means we're dead. Our deck just generates so much value. Oh, they kept running 6 with no lands again, huh? Definitely taking Risen Reef. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Dead Gaile's like Death and Taxes with discard spells. Am I supposed to take Ren or am I supposed to take Omnath? I think I'm just supposed to take Ren. Because if they draw a fetch land, Ren in 6 fixes the rest of their hand. So we'll plane cycle this. We'll grab a Godless Shrine. We'll shock this in. Cast this. Casual 14 without my opponent doing anything to me. One thing that's a touch unfortunate is that Fury Wait, did they draw an ephemerate? They had to have drawn ephemerate, right? It's the only thing that makes sense here. Okay, I think they have Fury plus one other card I can't take, so it's probably going to miss here, I assume. Yep. Okay, well. Liliana edicts this off the board next turn, and then if they Fury to kill Liliana, we're at parity. I'm down on life, but a little bit ahead on lands. Oh, I have Timeless Dragon in the bin to pick back up because I discarded a land with earlier. Actually has a lot of value. Things to note. Wow, we're not Furying the Liliana. Kind of surprises me. I feel like they're supposed to, right? Because you're just going to take a card out of their hand every turn. That might be what this tank is, realizing that they have to Fury the Liliana. Yeah, looks like it. Either that or they just heard me suggest that they need to do the Liliana. Nope. Weird. I think this is a mistake on their part. I guess, like, maybe they're hoping to get, like, a Lingering Souls out of it as well. I mean, I guess they can Fury the Timeless Dragon, but I think that's a win for me, right? If they drew exactly Ephemerate 2, it makes sense to wait. They have two cards we don't know at the moment. So they have Fury, Omnath, and then two more. I mean, if they hit second Ephemerate, there's nothing we can do about that. We're in a really bad spot. Yeah, that is a card that makes sense to wait on. Okay, well, no Ephemerate it would seem. Cast this before we plus the Liliana. There are enough slivers and changelings to try slivers and brawl. I hope so. Definitely going to try them in historic proper. All right. Opponent kept kind of a sketchy hand and then died. Yeah, I guess this is pretty good against their freebies, huh? Kaya's Guile doesn't sound particularly exciting. Turn a Cling to Dust. Man, our hands have just not been kind. Opponent kept 7 every game, and we've just taken a bunch of mulligans. Keep bottom the Prismatic Ending, I think. Opponent just casually wasting infinite time off the clock because they're doing something else while also playing Magic. Down a casual 6 minutes. Just moto things, really. We take the Ren and 6 to try and choke their mana here a little bit. Then we'll probably take the Risen Reef with the second one. Historic Horizons releases August 12th. All right. Need to draw a land next turn. Untapped land. We have one Indatha Triome in our deck that's tapped land. The old mulligan, keep a 2-lander on the draw, never see a third land and die. Don't magic me, Moto. Don't do it. Have a heart. Now we're definitely drawing the Triumph. Oh, I thought about it before. Come on now. Don't do it to me. Don't fail me now. Wonder if they Teferi or if they're going to flash an Endurance. The preemptive fetch would imply Teferi. We have a second Urborg, but I can float mana, play Urborg, and then play the next one, so that's like not the end of the world. Come on, hit me, dealer. Ding, ding, ding. I think we just get this going. Because they have to choose between Endurance and Ephemerate here. I think it's better to play Liliana than to Vindicate the land. I think. I think Liliana the Veil is too strong for Historic. I don't know. So now I get to I'm in a pretty reasonable position because now I get to Vindicate the Utopia Sprawl, or Vindicate the Forest with the Utopia Sprawl on it, which forces them to play the Endurance. So then Liliana can edict the Endurance off the board. Yes, I am manually. This area here shows every card that's been revealed by my opponent throughout the course of the game, and you have to manually track when they play them, like on paper, like scratching them off a sheet of paper that you have in front of you. It is incredibly tedious. Oh, I lose my lingering souls this way. Okay, so I messed up. I should have been. I wasn't thinking about. This was just a 3/4 flash in my head because we're not really a graveyard deck. So I definitely should have binned my second Liliana and not the Lingering Souls. Was a mistake. What's going on, Jack Jack? DMS 6 for the 42 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Getting items at 20 is pretty cheap, all things considered. They're what's it called? Made by Cling to Dust Worst Tier 2. They have another Endurance, we could actually be in trouble here. Are they going to Endurance themselves in response? That's actually really good for me. Okay, so this happens, and they're going to target themselves to deny me the card draw. So now I Liliana edict their thing, and then we go land second Liliana, take the last card out of their hand. So this actually works out really well. Them wanting to deny us the card draw with Cling here is huge. Because now I have like Liliana versus, yeah, sick. That sequence worked out really well for us. We're cooking with gas, chat. So unfortunately, I can't eternalize this while Teferi has counters on him, but that's also fine, right? Yes, Flagstones is for Smallpox. We have 3 copies of Urborg and 2 filter lands stuck to Little. So I think it's fine. Nice. Okay, Liliana is ready to alt. I think this is a game where we put Liliana to 7 and then alter. And we'll get to do the fun thing where we put Teferi, or we put the Temple Garden and Utopia Sprawl in separate piles. Nah, I don't think we just do lands versus Teferi now that they've put it to 2 here. If they would have gone up, maybe, but like we had the Lingering Souls, so they couldn't go up. They draw another Teferi? Yeah, okay. Okay, they're at 2 cards in hand. And every time we plus the Liliana and they're discarding and we're not, it's a 1 for 0. So nice. Hopefully they have a card this can take, and then we'll take their other card with Liliana. Yep. And now I get to escape this, eternalize, escape, whatever. Tomato, tomato, really. Yep. Opponent concedes. Okay. Sick. You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. Yeah, we pretty thoroughly ground them into the dirt, huh? They stumbled a little bit, and Liliana just like jumped on them and did not let them up. Have yet to cast a Smallpox 3 games in. Hopefully that changes before we're done. This hand is pretty bad. Gonna go ahead and take a mulligan here. Okay. So Flagstones of Trokair is probably the best draw on our deck. It could have been right to bottom the second Pox since I'm land light at the moment. Opponent gonna get a monkey around here. Dragon Range Chandler, sure. Guess I can just discard the second. The second Pox. Let's take their Inquisition here. And there's only 1 card in my graveyard at the moment here, so they can't currently drown in the lock my Smallpox, which is nice. Pengu Power, thank you for the 22 months. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Well, I'm glad I took their other discard spell. Because this way they can't take both the Smallpoxes. And they have Drown Bolt as their other cards here. So we're going to get to cast Smallpox next turn. Which is nice. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they take the Painful Truths because it's our card advantage after the fact. I mean, we're not here to not cast Smallpox, right? We'll just hope to draw land. Famous last words. Our deck assuredly plays more lands than theirs. So this is technically a 3 for 3, right? We're trading 1, 2, 3, or 4 for 4. Yeah, because we're trading. They got rid of 1, 2, 3. We got rid of no, it's 3 for 3. We got rid of 1, 2, 3. They got rid of 1, 2, 3. This is where the magic happens, chat. A true test of skill and battle of wits. Who can draw their second land? All right. Can we draw a third? Your deck's playing 24 lands in it. Okay. I think I'm just supposed to draw 2 here, even though I could draw 1 more next turn. Because they could draw a land, which would let them drown in the lock. So I think I just take my 2 for 1 while I can get it. Yeah. Drown, K command. Well, I'm going to take the K command because the drown and the locks are technically just 1 for 1s. Yeah, our running flagstones there were a little late to the party, but it is what it is. I'm not just running a Vindicate into a Drown and Lock. I want to try and generate a double spell turn at some point. We're just looking to grind them out with 2 for 1s, essentially. So I took their 2 for 1 here. We can mitigate some of Luris's power by the fact that we kept them low on lands, which is nice. So they have heat, seal of removal, drown. Okay, and they tapped out for this here, so they're not going to be able to drown this turn, so we'll be able to vindicate them off of land this turn. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely, even if they hit a land here, it's definitely Stone Rain time. That one. Kill it with fire. It's a monkey. Yep. All right, that gives them a treasure. Lingering Souls came up a little bit late there. They drew land too. Wow, for fuck's sake. Oh, this is why this card is $150. I'm just like sitting here with all this sorcery speed removal like a big old idiot. We're losing because these four copies of this cost more than our deck. Magic's pay to win, chat. They've got monkeys and we don't. Honestly, we might see them like Unholy Heat, Seal of Removal, Dash the Monkey again next turn. Would not be surprised. So 28 months, Mikey. Welcome back. Good morning. Yeah, I think that's what we're about to see happen. Yep. We're actually just gonna die to this dashing with a bunch of sorcerer speed removal in our hand. Like trying to think of things we can draw, and they basically don't exist. Need a discard spell, I guess. All right, chat. YOLO. Hit me, dealer. Well, we missed on the monkey, but we got double drown in the lock. So that's decent for us until they have another removal spell. Big Stan, thanks for 31 months. Good morning, good morning. What are we sideboarding here? Kor Firewalker might come in. Kaya's Guile's definitely coming in. Third drown in lock. Can people stop soloing Zapdos? The answer to that question is deterministically no. I would settle for getting paired with randoms who understand that Dreadnought is important. Because that was the common theme in the games Christy and I were playing yesterday in Pokemon Unite. Is that the average idiot we were playing with that was a random person just had no concept that the Dreadnought mattered. All right. I'm excited to see two monkeys when I cast this Inquisition. Fourth drown in the luck. I'm gonna bolt my dome here. I mean, the actual answer is that, like, when you're playing a game like Pokemon Unite is it's just a completely different game when you have teammates versus not. And like MOBAs in general are high skill, low variance, but when you play with other people, the variance is in your teammates. And like I wouldn't comment on people's ability to execute their characters because you don't know whether or not they're actually playing their characters well mechanically, but there's two parts of games that are MOBAs, and one is executing your character mechanically appropriately, and the second is having a base understanding of what actually matters in the game that you're playing. And a lot of the people that we played with didn't seem to have an understanding of what actually mattered on the map at any given point. Yeah, there's pings, but people just ignore them for the most part. They just pretend they don't exist. Man, my opponent drew three Drown in the Locks in half their deck. Can we draw a second Lingering Souls, please? Please. All right, so we'll play some of these. Honestly, our main deck doesn't seem terrible here. think I'm cutting a couple of Thoughtseizes and like this Dread Cantor. Bring in some protection from red Dorcas. Oh, I want a Guile too. Yeah, that's fair. Makes a 1/1 blocker, makes him sacrifice something. Maybe I don't want all these Firewalkers. They're kind of bad with Nether Spirit. Nah, I don't even think it has to do with fun. So like if you haven't played Pokemon Unite, there's two objectives that come up at like 2.5 minutes into the game. And a good example of teammates not understanding what's important is one of those objectives is a lot more important than the others. So one thing Christy and I were doing is we'd be on the top and we'd rotate down to the bottom to try and do the bottom objective because it's the most important one or both of us. And like our other teammates would go up to the top opposite of us, not understanding that we were coming down to help with the important objective. So they just lacked a base fundamental grasp of like what we were doing and why and what was important in terms of what we were doing. So they weren't like doing something wacky that was fun. They were on level 0 is you split the playing field evenly because you want balance across all the lanes and not lose any of them. And then level 1 is definitely understanding which things actually matter. We just take the K command, right? Are very, very threat dense here. Yeah, but it's about situational awareness too. So like you can send pings and stuff, AGH. So like when one of your teammates does a thing and they say gather here, and then you run to the opposite side of the map of where they're telling you to gather, like that shows a pretty denseness. Like I'm pretty forgiving to people being new too, but it's also like Christy and I are like almost at the equivalent of people. Christy and I are like we're like close to the equivalent of what is like the top rank in that game. So like we're also not playing with people that like just started playing. Like you need to win like dozens of matches to be up to the spot where we're at too. I mean, I'd literally never touched a MOBA before and played, a handful of games and quickly realized what mattered. Oh, fuck this monkey. He's gonna get an Inquisition, and he's gonna take our Liliana, and we're gonna be done. Just a Lingering Souls, God bless. Nah, it's definitely a team game. You can't snowball it all on your own. You can try, but you'll fail. I haven't. This is my first time playing a truly fair deck against Ragavan, and good lord, does it feel atrocious. Like a lot of the other decks I've played in Modern have been like kind of combo-y. Like even Kiki Chord's like a combo fair deck, and like this is my first time playing something that's fully fair, and these games just do not feel good at all. This one drop is just completely shoving us around. between our sorcery speed removal and them drawing our cards like these. Well, I guess that's a bad one, but like, man. Yeah, it's the best fair thing you can have an Inquisition in hand. Yeah, the fact that it generates you mana every turn on top of potentially generating card advantage is just so powerful. All right, that blocks the monkey for a little bit at least. Still dying to the Dragon Rage Chandler because it's just flying. Because it's a 1-drop, so of course it is flying. Aaron Forsyth was quoted implying that Ragavan would not be in the upcoming set. Just for reference, for people speculating on whether or not that's coming. I don't know. Ragavan's a card that would bully Jeskai control in Historic, so I'd kind of be okay with it there. Ragavan's printing into this format is in large part of why control decks got pushed down and out, which was a net positive for the format for sure. Ragavan, that Ragavan. What's going on, Bulletproof Pope? Thank you for the over 4 years of support. Welcome back. They've got a Drown in the Loch just sitting in their hand here too. So eventually I'm going to draw something worth casting, and it's just not going to resolve. Meanwhile, we're dying to this. I'd wager we're dead next turn. This card's so much better than Delver of Secrets, it's not funny. Like, as someone who spent a lot of time playing Delver of Secrets, this card is just on a whole different level. Alright, I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick before we play the next one. I'll be right back. So Pokemon Unite, basically League of Legends, but Pokemon. It's the same genre of game, but it does a number of things different. Like, probably the biggest selling point is all of the games are 10 minutes at most. Is a hard stop at 10 minutes. Donna the Slum, thanks for the 5 minutes. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. What are my thoughts on the Evoke Elementals for Historic? I don't know. Free spells are dangerous. Izzy TV, thanks for the 22 months. Most of the Elementals deck that's in Modern would be Historic legal. I guess Red in 6 is a pretty big missing piece. keep these. So I don't want to just naked Smallpox their land here because that's card disadvantage for us. Oh, I should have fetched the Indatha Triome. That's actually a pretty big mistake. Keep forgetting we have a third color. It's like, oh, I can just fetch a basic with this, but it's actually a pretty big punt. So now I can't Painful Truce for 3. This is one of the reasons why Renin 6 is so good in these attrition matchups too. Like I killed their Renin 6, but it already drew them a card. Which is one of the reasons why that I didn't fetch the Indatha Triome really matters, because this is only a 2-for-1 instead of a 3-for-1 now. Oh, this deck. Okay. Well, they have plenty of land, so I guess I'll draw 2. Sure. Another way to phrase that no fire, no steel is that Historic Horizons looks to be adding cards to Historic that just weren't powerful enough for Modern, which means you'll have a slightly lower power level in Historic than you do in Modern, which is good in general. I can just cast this, they can bounce it with this, but that's fine. I mean, like, I don't really want a Prismatic Ending a Teferi Time Reveler. I don't really have anything for 3 that I'm interested in doing that too. Prismatic Ending's pretty poop in this matchup in general. I guess maybe we're supposed to keep it in for Renin 6. I have in my sideboard here for this. So their matchup where my sideboard doesn't seem particularly good. We have like a lot of pretty narrow cards in here, like anti-red cards, anti-artifact cards. Kaya's Guile's not terrible, I suppose. I'm gonna Prismari command to finish this. And a Renin 6. Yeah, so like now my Smallpox are just like completely outclassed, right? So they have an endless supply of Dwarven Mines at this point. Yes, they are playing the Indomitable Creativity deck. We took one of those earlier with the discard spell. We don't know yet if they're playing the Velocimist build or the Emrakul configuration. Some are playing both, like the build we played the other day. Or are we hard casting Velocimist? Okay, that answers that question. Oh, we knew they were playing the Velocimist. They had to save for the moment. That's the answer to that question. Some dragon on dragon violence here. Yikes. Alright, well, we want to draw a dam here. The best draw on our deck. I'll take a little info on the way out the door before we concede. Okay, so Smallpox is pretty bad here. I guess Void Mirror stops Velocimist from casting its spells. Kaya's Guile, like, isn't super exciting, but I think it's better than Smallpox. It's pretty bad too. I guess she kills their tokens. She kills artifact tokens and creature tokens. Prismatic Ending for their planeswalkers is probably fine. Yeah, Smallpox largely excels against decks that are playing to the board, because generally speaking, you want to be killing a creature with it. Risky click there on that while we're not zoomed in. Man, Liliana just ain't what she used to be. She's so bad against Red and 6. I don't have it this game at least. We've got that. I actually really don't like Power Up Punch on Lucario. Been super underwhelmed by it. If you're playing against any opposing crowd control Pokemon, you get got with Power Up Punch so often, the timing on it's super awkward. Any thought for Tourach into Inquisition? No, I'm only one land off of being able to kick this, so I want to kick this ideally. We'll take their creativity here because these are all tokens with Dwarven Mine. He's immunity at 11 plus. That's interesting to know. Wonder if we're going to see them path this to save their Teferi. Okay, they did not. So they played Arid Mesa. So they have Path to Exile, Scalding Tarn, and then one card I don't know. Did I just get my hand empty at this point? I could just get my hand empty at this point. Concede to the protection from White Critter. Okay. Deal. We take those. BT dubs, I haven't plugged it a ton today, but it's in the stream title. I have my monthly sub survey posted in the subs Discord server. If you can take a second to fill it out. The most important question on it is this one here. Shout out to the 313 people that have already done it. So I've been making a lot of different content types, even just within Magic. You know, there's Standard 22, Historic Brawl is coming back, Modern here at the bottom. So if you feel strongly about, even if you don't feel strongly, you like everything that I'm doing, just let me know. Kind of helps me balance which ratios of content I make in terms of my live time, especially. So if you just hop in the subs Discord server and look in the announcements channel. Unfortunately, Twitch has removed my ability to email subscribers directly, which has really hurt the participation rate that I've had with my sub surveys, which is unfortunate, but nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. Some people were using the email my sub button for bads chant. So Twitch decided to punish everybody instead of just the people being idiots. Feels bad, man. Yeah, like we're on the draw against this red and 6, so if we don't draw Prismatic Ending, it's gonna get to draw 2 cards before we do anything about it. I guess we'll get the Voidmere down, because we need to Vindicate this next turn. Either August 10th or August 12th. August 12th at the latest. There's a patch on August 10th that involves some downtime. It might be going back up then, too. We'll find out. Oh, BT dubs. There was some confusion on. Oh, Prismari Command just kills my Voidmere, huh? My body is ready for our opponent to shatter everything and untap next turn. Speaking of arena and historic stuff, the next Shoglandia opens actually going to be the 21st of August. I think I mentioned the 15th at one point. But Christy and I were looking at our dates, and the what's it called works better for us. So this was the best draw in our deck. So I get to exile this, and then we get to edict them off of the Emrakul. So, you know, sometimes lucky. Hey, Mick LSO, MKELSO, thanks for the follow and the brand new sub. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for the support. Played any Espergoria recently? I have not. Contract, thanks for the 15 months. And Nalik Thrab, thanks for the follow. They could just recombo us this turn. They did just put the Emrakul back into their deck, so like, it's the part where they do it again. Nope, just the Time Warp. This does let them kill the Liliana. Dwarven Mindfetch lands is so messed up. Demolisher, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. Could still die here. Yep, that's going to be Evil Alchemist plus Emrakul here. So we'll be dead. I wish I could say this league was surprising to me. I've got 4 modern decks in the queue that posted 5-0 results. You got Black White Pox, Blue Black Mill, Red Green Scales, and maybe Jeskai Blade. Getting Ragavans has proven impossible recently because there's $600 for 4 of them. But Moderns felt a little bit rough playing Brews lately. The decks that are good are like really good, and B-list decks like this have felt like they're having a rough go of it the last week or so. So I might scale down how much Modern we're doing. Because we've stopped getting submissions for it, and the random miscellaneous other decks that I've been playing have not felt particularly good. Rage Quit, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Atheax, thanks for the 3rd of a year. I'll probably just fill in some more Magic Arena. in that time. We'll probably do at least a Kiki Cord League per week because that deck has still felt good, but setting $10 on fire every morning trying to find things like this to play has not been fun. All right, we'll take their 2 for 1. Then we can take the Teferi next turn. The format definitely feels very dual decks Ragavans versus Omnaths, which honestly makes sense why Kiki Court feels playable, because Kiki Court is an Omnath deck at its core. Feels like you need to be in one of those two camps to be in a reasonable spot. Yeah, the fact that um there's artificial scarcity issues on Magic Online is a good reminder that Magic cards being expensive is something that's profitable for wizards. It is a feature, not a bug. It always makes me chuckle when people complain about like the reserve list making Legacy expensive, and it's like, well, even if the reserve list didn't exist, Legacy would still be expensive because Wizards wouldn't be reprinting these cards for the most part. Hey, Wigan, thanks for the 27 months. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Well, engineered explosives means that our spirit tokens aren't particularly good. I guess we'll do this and get the bolt out of their hand. I guess once they start making saga tokens, blowing the engineered explosives up becomes less appealing. So they'll do this here. They're choosing it to time walk my flashback. Sure. So we are behind because of Urza's Saga. This is going to pump out 2 constructs and then fish up an artifact. They're playing some kind of grinding station combo deck. That, like, mills themselves, like, puts a Thassa's Oracle into play. I would assume. Ooh. Are we doing that? I think we're doing that, right? I guess they sacrificed their construct here. Oh, they didn't. Okay, so we're gonna get the Emery out of this. Sounds nice. Sounds lovely. Would love to use Flagstone's ability. Thank you for asking, Moto. So they'll make a 4/4 at end of turn. Go get your shots, Dub Dub. Thanks for the tier 3. Robo Reagan, and for the 26 months. And for doing your part to maybe help us get out of this pandemic. Christy. Christy and I had the conversation yesterday of what's the plan if the schools end up closing again this fall due to Delta circulation, which I didn't think that was a conversation we were going to be having over the summer as vaccinations were ramping up. But as is often the case, conservatives tend to ruin things for everyone. So we live in a society, etc., etc. It's for 11 months, Fabricator. Welcome back. Zero! Thanks for the entire year. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Yet I participate in society, exactly. No, I'd be less concerned about school stuff if vaccines are approved for as young as 12 currently. I'm hoping we see it for the younger kids sooner rather than later, but I don't think we have a timeline on that I've seen at least. I'm leaving one of these tokens back, so we might need to jump block this turn. And one of the nice things about Timeless Dragon at a point like this is, right, we didn't plane cycle it, so we just get 2 bodies out of it, right? So we can trade this for a construct and then have a 4/4 on the back end. That's a gorgeous piece of artwork. Midwinter. Okay. We'll see if schools manage to stay open that long. There was an internal CDC memo that circulated that said that early estimations put the Delta variation as contagious as chickenpox, which is, let's use the word concerning. Oh, Underworld Breach. People are asking what the opponent's deck is doing. Underworld Breach is the answer, BT dubs. Well, I mean, so like the reality is people talking about social distancing inside of schools, kids on top of each other in classrooms, like maybe distancing works with like teenagers, but even then a lot of these old schools, the circulation and ventilation is really important in terms of passing germs around. And a lot of schools are older buildings that don't have good sources of those things. Yeah, if you only play Magic Arena, it's easy to forget that Underworld Breach did real messed up things in other and older formats. So I've got some 4/4s, but they've got like a value engine going with Emery at this point. Well, I don't even have 4/4s, right? Because they're just gonna recur. They just have engineered explosives, right? Yeah. Okay. So I think we're dead. I guess I could draw a smallpox, but they're either recurring explosives or drawing an extra card every turn with Emery. And I know I technically missed 1 point of damage here, but that shouldn't matter in the long term. That's true. That's true. There are many people that don't really realize how contagious chickenpox is because vaccines largely wiped it out. Because science is great. Weird. Weird how that worked out. All right, so Wars Wage, Fragmentize, Crime and Punishment, definitely all coming in. Kaya's Graveyard Hate. Prismatic Ending seems fine. I'm gonna trim the Dread Cantor because I want minimal creatures in case another spirit comes up. Oh my god, chickenpox parties. By the way, if your parents had you participate in a chickenpox party as a child, I have bad news about the intelligence level of your parents. They're really fucking stupid. Those are definitely a thing that happened. I remember hearing about those as a child. Nope, no, like literally parents would group their children with other kids that were known to have chickenpox to make them get it so they could become immune. All right, I don't know how we're boarding here. That's another small. Honestly, smallpox as a card just does not seem particularly good. They have Emery, but they also have like a bunch of construct tokens. I think I'd rather have things like Dam and Prismatic Ending to deal with the Emery and Vindicate. Fuck off, Jofu. The idea of having a chickenpox party because it was less extreme to get it as a child than as an adult when there was a vaccine available to do the same thing just means your parents were idiots. So stop it, get some help. It's a good reminder that like we've been dealing with anti-vaxxers for a long time. This is just the newest type of anti-vaxxer that we're dealing with. Yeah, someone want to Google when was the chickenpox vaccine widely available for the first time? I actually don't know that metric offhand. Newer. Come on, chat. I had a chickenpox vaccine as a child. 95. All right, I got bad news for everybody at home that thinks 1995 is newer. You're gonna need to sit down for this next part, I think. Mostly because your back is old and can't take it. Make sure you're sitting in something ergonomic. All right, so I think we're Katakiing this turn because it means we get to kill one of these, which sounds nice. So they'll probably let Springleaf Drum die, and then they'll Prismatic Ending this. Kaya take the drum. Now I can kill the drum with the Kataki and get the Prismatic Ending out of their hands so the Kaya can live afterwards. Oh, sure, they'll sacrifice it. That's fine. Ooh, that means they can't Prismatic Ending me this turn. It's exciting. I'd like to vindicate this one, please. I mean, they were technically correct though, Drax. It's the best kind of correct. Okay. All right, so let's go green, white, black, and then we hope to draw a white source here so we can prismatic ending the grinding station. Take that, I guess. I think it's the iteration here because it's the 2-for-1. Since I have the prismatic ending to clean out the emery. It's very strange to me that people want COVID to run its course and kill thousands more people as if those people's lives are completely worthless to them. I'm gonna let you in on a really fucking terrible secret. Those people's lives that will die are worthless to them because in their mind, they won't be one of the people that die in those thousands of people that die, and they actually couldn't care less about other people in the world. The leopard won't be eating their face, so it's not a problem. I want to take out the cards that they would most likely want to bring back with Emery or Breach here. They do get to prismatic ending this, but they're going to get to prismatic ending something at some point regardless. Are we dead? This is one of the reasons why this card is so good, right? Like, now, even if we're not dead, they're going to get to draw 2 or 3 cards with it here. Because, again, Mishra's Bubble is here to be free and to power things up. This is, unfortunately, not an instant, so I can't Fragmentize in response here. Like, whenever people talk about other busted cards, you'll just look at all the surrounding cast. It's always these problem children, chip. I mean, they're going to empty their graveyard here to do this, I guess. Well, they get to draw 4 cards with this Mishra's Bauble now? Maybe I should have exiled both baubles. It was a mistake on my part. I guess they're out of graveyard now, at least. Yeah. Seer Visions for the last one? Yep. Oh, I didn't put in Stony Silence. Yeah, you're super correct. My one of Stony Silence should definitely come in. All right, small mistake here. Should have used this on one of the cards in their bin there first. Well, they have Prismatic Ending in their hand, Time Lord, so Kaya's not going to ult. She's going to get exiled. I did attempt to draw a card there to draw a discard spell, but... Excuse me? Oh, do you have Lightning Bolt? Or he's gonna, like, double Mox Amber? Get rid of the Kaya? Is that what's about to happen here? Well, they don't have a legendary thing yet, though, right? Friendo. They definitely have Prismatic Ending in their hand. We saw it earlier. Okie doke. Listen, we take those, chat. You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I want the other Cling to Dust here. When they give you a present, you smile and take it. Maybe Liliana's not good enough. What if I board in a Void Mirror? They have Moxes and they have bubbles. Bring in one Void Mare. Cut these Lilianas. This hand's actually fine. Remember, Flagstones, legendary ruling Flagstones gets you a land out of your deck, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to play the castle on one, so if we draw untap black, I want to be able to Inquisition plus Klingon too. It also gives us the option like Inquisition plus Fragmentize. They play something like a Mox or a Springleaf Drum that we want to potentially get rid of. Hey chat, how do you feel about 1-mana Stone Rain? Does it make you feel things? It makes me feel things. All of their cards are really good here. I think I'm supposed to take the iteration. Yeah, Bauble and Serum Visions here. I drew a free spell. I guess I get to kick the dam, huh? So that's fine. Exile those. We have Vindicate for the Teferi next turn. No, there isn't value in putting standard 22 deck lists on my website. So it takes me both time and money to put decks up there because it requires me to put banners up. And what's the word that I'm searching for? Their standard 22 is a very short shelf life. Even when I am playing standard, I won't put standard deck lists up there in general. Just because things rotating out makes it less appealing to put them up there. I think we just get rid of the Urza Saga here. I'm gonna go ahead and cantrip, just keep their graveyard small, draw a card. So, as always, my YouTube channel is well organized, so there's plenty of good ways to find that up there. Yep. Okay, so Prismatic Ending kills the Mentor, and then Kaya kills the token here. All right, well, we're 2-2 with our pile of bad cards, chat. Small. Honestly, what playing this deck has felt like to me is that Smallpox isn't very good, but being a black-white mid-range deck is mostly fine. Nah, I mostly just don't want to take the effort to maintain it, Weens. Like I already work 40 to 60 hours a week. I don't have time to like put up standard banners that are gonna like putting up standard decks that are going to be useless every 3 months is I know it sounds kind of funny saying that because historic's been changing. Like the historic decks, for example, aren't currently up to date because historic's gonna get flipped on its head again. I just haven't taken the time to update it because of that. I'm hoping that historic stabilizes a little bit and like things can be stable and consistent, but yeah, maybe that's hoping against hope. It's not 22 months, Chase. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Got our burrito match. For those that aren't familiar with Magic Online's economy and gambling system, we are guaranteed to get 5 of my $10 back because I've won 2 matches. If we win this next match, we get all $10 back plus a $2 bonus. So no pressure out there, but we are currently playing for $7 worth of prizes. Formats that nobody plays tend to be relatively stable. And actually, no, regular standard's been really stable for a long while now because what's the word I'm searching for? Regular standard's been really stable because it hasn't anything happen. How many arena rare wildcards? Rare wildcards are a little bit about $5 a pop, thereabouts. And again, as is the case with Magic Arena's predatory nature, I can't actually tell you how much it costs to buy specific things on Magic Arena because that's how their economy works. So I think this Indatha Triome here is actually a spell this game. We're so flooded here. Yeah, Standard's been super stable because the Eldraine is accurate. Our opponent's a very charming individual here. Hopefully we end up with a creature in their bench. This Cling to Dust can be healing salve once or twice would be nice. All right, my lady, up you go. Thanks for the support, Rook. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, the MVP system in Pokemon Unite isn't very good. They definitely need a better way to measure people who aren't the jungler. I assume they're going to hit us for 3 to 4 here. Wow, they don't have a spell in their hand. Okay. They had Searing Blaze. Am I supposed to Smallpox? I think the answer is no. I think we're just like tapped Godless Shrine, cycling this Triome. Yeah, I don't know, Kraken. I would prefer if historic wasn't constantly getting flipped on its head. I like the idea of some of the stuff they'd have planned, but I'd also prefer it if the format was a little bit more stable than it has been. My body is prepared to die to Boros Charm. Lamar sorcery speed removal looking real mediocre here again. Am I escaping Cling to Dust or am I holding on to the hope that I'm going to find a creature? I think I'm supposed to escape the Cling to Dust. The fact that they just only had one creature this game and my removal spell exiled it was real brutal. We had a really good start. We get to potentially take them off of white mana here, which is nice. I make them choose between white mana and their Fiery Isle. Okay, so what if we smallpox them down to one land? Is that's gotta be wrong, right? Because we're at 4. I know it's the play Twitch chat wants me to make. Twitch chat's never met a land they didn't want a Stone Rain. So this was actually the best draw in their deck for us. So now I get to smallpox and then cling to dust. All right, let's just make sure I do this correctly. So cling, target Swift Spear, exile the rest of these. And I think I'm supposed to hold on to this for now. Maybe that's not true. Could go either way. So what's our best draw here? A dragon? Probably a dragon. Lingering Souls. Whoop! All right. So you're saying, oh, it was a creature. Wait a minute. This gains life when I exile a creature, right? Yeah, it does. All right. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, lizard on a chair, take my hand. We'll make it, I swear. Be-doo, be-dee-dee-dee-dee. Oh my gosh, Kaya's a gain 8 next turn, chat. Kaya's a gain 8 next turn. Fire and Fury, thank you for the 24 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, so I'm going to cling here to draw a card because it also gains me an extra life with Kaya. Okay, there's a Lingering Souls. Are we doing it, chat? I think we're doing it. -6, my Liliana, kill your Roiling Vortex. Woo! Buddy old pal. Put lethal into play. Ooh, baby. I feel like we stole that one, fam. I feel like I don't know that we were supposed to win that, but we did, and we here we are. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth, I suppose. All right, so Tourach's pretty bad. Kor Firewalker's great. Nether Spirit's probably. Blacks are bringing in extra creatures. Kaya's Guile's great. Fragmentize is fine. So 2 years, Fire and Fury, welcome back. Fire and Fury resubbing while we're beating Burn. We have two chances to secure the burrito, chat. I think I'm trimming a couple of smallpoxes again. Maybe it's just damn. I'm gonna trim one of each of these. Let's coward split it. In addition to Roiling Vortex, Fragmentize also kills Eidolon of the Great Revolt. Yes, we're on the draw here, which is the hard one. All these spells are really good. Maybe we should keep. Alone, bro. Alone, Ted. We bottom the cling here. There's a good chance we exile their first threat. It would have been a very good Runeterra hand, you're not wrong. It's like, this thing says gain 4, make a 1/1 BT dubs for people that haven't seen this card before. All right, go to 15. Yep. Perfect. Love it. Drew my sideboard card. That's a pretty good thing to do in Modern. Malyavac, thank you for the half-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, you get shoved in a box by my sideboard card, Modern deck. Get out of here. All right, so as is often the case, the record really isn't meaningful in terms of telling how the deck was. So we went 3-2 there, but I feel like the story of this 3-2 wasn't so much about Smallpox being reasonable as it was. This set actually made me want to revisit. Do I have it in here? Yeah, I'm gonna make a point to revisit some Dead Guy Ale at some point. And maybe not even like, maybe a non-grief version of Dead Guy Ale, but like the parts of this deck that were good were definitely like the discard spells, the Planeswalkers, the Lingering Souls, the Vindicate. Smallpox is like aggressively medium in basically every game we played it. The score is made up. I mean, we did technically get points that turn into cash, so we've got that going for us. But in terms of power level of the deck, like someone, for example, had commented, Jeff, there's no shambling vents in this deck. Well, yeah, we have to play Urborgs and Flagstones of Trokair and Fetid Heath in order to make Smallpox try and be maximized. So, like, we don't have room for other better utility lands because of that. And honestly, talking about the newest Magic set, I think there's a chance that like the Eye Blight land that's an always untapped black land on turn 1 and turn 2 is actually very, very good here. Like, it casts your discard spells on 1 would be good. And honestly, I don't even know that this is the shell that I want. I think I want to try a non-ephemerate black-white mid-range deck basically after playing this. Like this didn't have room for things like Liliana and Lingering Souls, and both of those cards were very reasonable. I think it's like you play like Dothry Voidwalker and Stoneforge as your cards, and then some planeswalkers and stuff. Someone asked about a black-white Yorion deck. Yeah, I think that's fine. There's some variations of that going around, but that's not really what I think. I'd like to build a non-ephemerate black-white deck after playing this today, I think. Yeah, they're good. I just like think this is a much worse Ephemerate Solitude deck than like Kiki Cord, for example. Thanks for the 16 months patronizing purpose. If you missed the